ASTRONEER. I have just started up a new game and landed on a world. Looks fairly good. I've got some oxygen and power sort of nodes here, and a crashed spaceship nearby, so that's always good. So I'm going to go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to check out this spaceship, see what we've got in there. It has been a while since I've played ASTRONEER, but it is constantly being updated and having new features added in. So there's always something new. Got a little seat here. So the first thing I really want to do is find a bunch of compound and a bunch of resin for sort of expanding my base. I think that's resin over there. Oh, we've got compound here as well. So I'll grab some compound first and make a bunch of tethers, which will allow me to explore further with the oxygen line. My main sort of objective today is to expand my base a bit, build an item printer and get some solar panels set up so that I have a nice power supply for continuing to explore. Just going to drop this titanium on my base. And aluminium as well. So it looks like there's some more resource nodes off in this direction. I think that's resin, the one I can see there. So I'm probably going to build my tether line towards that. Seems like a good place to start. Grab some more of this compound. If you haven't played ASTRONEER, you basically start on a fresh planet with just your terrain deformation tool, which is used for collecting resources and everything. Excuse me a moment. And yeah, your mission is to sort of build your base, build a spaceship and head out to other planets. I'm not sure if there's a sort of end game at the moment, but you basically just want to survive and build up as much as you can. You can tunnel all the way through the planets. They're completely sort of destructible, modifiable. It also has a bunch of land vehicles, like there's a rover and a truck that I've seen. There may be more by now, I'm not sure. And there's a bunch of different buildings and stuff you can get as well. And each different resource sort of has its own purpose. Resin is mainly used for building your base. Compound is used for any of the sort of attachment things that you'll have, like solar panels and things like that. So now that I've got some resin, I can extend my base. You just click on the little node there and it sends out a platform, and you put some resin on it to build it. And if you want to put a building on it, you do have to make it into a bigger platform with 2 more resin. I've only got one at the moment, but I'll chuck it on there. And I'll go and grab some more. There is resources like this just in little patches on the ground that you can dig up. And then there's also big chunks like this one over here, which I believe will regenerate after you've mined them a bit. And you just sort of suck it out with your little vacuum tool. Digging and collecting resources uses power, which will slowly recharge over time, but you can also get a solar panel to make it charge faster, and you can make batteries to store more of it, things like that. Your main sort of survival concern is oxygen. If you move away from your base, you will see that the oxygen meter on my backpack here starts to empty, and when it runs out I will suffocate. But you can fill it up by going back to your base or going near a line of tethers here. If you have your tethers connected to your base, they will supply you with oxygen. You don't have to collect oxygen or anything for that. It's got a sort of infinite supply at your base. And if you have solar panels or batteries in your base with power in them, the tethers will also refill your power as you use it, if you're close enough, which is pretty handy. So I do have a bunch of compound here, so I'm going to make one of these little mini solar panels which can attach to my backpack. And it'll go on there and that'll fill me up faster. And while you're exploring, you will also come across things like this, a crashed spaceship, or there's satellites and a bunch of different things you can find, and they'll have different things in them. Some of the bigger satellites have a large solar panel that you can drag back to your base and hook it up to generate some power. And you'll also find little things like this, which once you have a research station, you can research them and find blueprints for new items or buildings. So, still need some more resin. We'll just go and dig up this bit over here. So as you can see, my backpack has filled up, so it's just dropping the little canisters of resin on the ground there. Which I can go and pick up anytime I want. So I've got my large platform ready here. There's a bunch of different buildings I can put on it. I think first I want a smelter so I can make some copper to make my printer. Should have enough compound. Yep. So now I think I'll need to go into a cave to find some copper ore. Malachite I just got. But before I do that, I just want to expand my base a little bit more and build a sort of storage area so I can drop off all this stuff I've got. something buried here. Just a little bit of space junk. It's not actually useful. So I do need some power, which I will make a solar panel for. I'll need some more compound for that. Did I have any left in the hole? No. It doesn't look like there's any more there. Can't really see any. You can move away from your tether line briefly as long as you don't go too far and don't run out of oxygen. If you do happen to go too far, you can always find oxygen. It's fairly common on the starting planet, and I've also got a node of it here, so I'm going to fill up a canister of oxygen, and I will take that with me so that instead of using up my oxygen supply, it'll use that first, and I'll be able to survive a while longer. You can also find little things like this, which I believe they're sort of supply drops that have been sent out for future explorers. Oh, the storm's coming. If you hear the wind picking up like that, it means to find cover, because there is a big storm coming. Don't know if I'm going to make it into it. Struggling. Alright, so I've jumped in my little pod here to protect me, hopefully. If you get caught out in the storm, these rocks flying around will kill you. So knock things around. If you've left any resource there, that will sort of smash them down. Might be able to find them anyway. You can always hide in a cave or just give yourself a little pocket. So we just have to wait out the storm. Looks like it's dying down. You can walk around while it's just a bit dusty. You will walk slower because of the wind. I'm going to store this hydrazine and I'll make myself another little solar panel here. You can have 2 attachments at a time on your backpack. You can have the solar panel, or I think there's also a wind turbine that you can get later on. So, now we want to go exploring in that cave, if I can find it again. Which way was it? Let's be back over this way. And yeah, this is oxygen on the ground here, the blue stuff. So if you're running out of oxygen, you can just sort of scoop some up. It will refill your backpack oxygen first, and then it will start making little oxygen canisters. So I can explore a little bit into this cave. I don't want to go too far because I probably won't make it back. Okay, looks like got some wildlife down here. These sort of plants will spit little clouds of gas at you, and if it hits you, it will kill you pretty easily. You can just dig them out of the ground and they'll stop doing that. Not sure what that is anymore. Okay, we're running low on oxygen, so I'll just head back. I probably should make some tethers and just extend my tether line down here. Don't have very much compound around my base here. Can't see what's in this thing. And yeah, these things will just pop open when you walk over to them. Some copper and some resin. Take those. I'm not sure if there was any copper in this other one. If there is, I can use that to make my item printer. That looks like copper. Yep, so I'll go and do that. So on this platform, I'm going to build a printer with my 2 coppers. And that will let me make a bunch of different items. I do need to power it up. You can power things in a bunch of different ways. There's solar panels, which are probably the easiest. There's also little wind turbines, or you can just collect power like this and sort of put it in manually. There's also a generator you can make, which you will feed with plant material, and it'll burn that and make energy power. But for now, we're going to stick with feeding it power manually, which should work like this. So what we want to make first, if we have the blueprint. Oh, I don't have the blueprint for solar panels. Okay. That's interesting. They have completely redone the research system since I last played this game, so it's a bit of a learning experience for me as well. So what we're going to need to do now is make ourselves another platform, and we'll have a research station. We're going to need some more resin for that. So we'll go and see if this one over here is refilled at all. I'm not sure if these things refill or if they're just a one-time thing. I think the last time I used one it did refill slowly. So I've got one stack there. And there's some over here. Just go and dig them. To build your base you do need a bunch of resin, but then once you've sort of got your base up and running, you don't really need it very much anymore. Unless you're one of those people that likes to just expand your base over the entire planet, which you can quite possibly do. The planets are actually full explorable planets. You can drive all the way around one and get back to where you started. They do have a north and south pole, as you can see by looking at the little compass under your feet here. And when you get to the north and south pole, the compass will spin around to match it. So I've got plenty of resin now. I'm going to build this platform. I'll need some more compound for that. One thing I do want to mention, when you're expanding your base and building new platforms, you have to be careful because once you've upgraded a platform to the larger size, you can't extend a new one from it. You can only do that from the small ones or from your original little pod. So you could potentially sort of break the game if you built all around your starting pod and then you couldn't expand anymore. I'm not sure if it'll just let you build through another one or not. So, once again, I'm hunting for compound. I think I saw some somewhere. It was over near the power thing, I think. Is there some over here? No, that's resin. There's plenty of resin over this way. There's bunches of it everywhere. I think that's compound. Don't want to run out of oxygen, so I'll just quickly head back. And we'll build a research station. I'm going to need more power for that, and that power node I think was completely depleted. I think I saw another one over here, didn't I? Somewhere. Go and check this thing first. So this one's organic, which you can get just by digging up these plants. It's not really very useful unless you're using it for your power generation, which I probably could do that for a little while, just until I've researched solar panels. I'm not sure if I can make a generator in my backpack. No, I can't. What I could do is build these little solar panels and put them on here. They will supply it with some power when the sun comes back up, but the larger ones that you get and you make in your printer are much more efficient. So I will be trying to make those. Hopefully not too long before I can do that. So I'm just going to build some more platforms just to use this resin that I have. And we'll go one more out this way. You can just sort of use these to store your resources on, so that you're not carrying everything around with you. I think I'll sort of build my tether line out this way next, and hopefully we'll come across a nice deposit of compound. There's another power node over there, so we might build that way. If I can gather some power, I can use it to research something. Oops. You do have to make sure your tethers are connected to the line, otherwise they won't give you any oxygen. And this one's sort of dug itself out of the ground. What we're going to do here is build a little bridge. You can place dirt, although apparently not on there. And yeah, you can just sort of build the ground by holding down Alt with your deformation tool. Make it so I can walk on it. So I'll grab some of this power and we'll go and research the little capsule that we found. With your research materials, you can find them in caves. Some of the plants will have research things under them. And you can also sometimes find them in the tops of trees. Doesn't seem to be any around here though. That may have changed with the research update. I'm not entirely sure. But for now, we're going to research this little capsule. Just plonk it on the top of here, and when it's full of power, you push this button, and we'll sort of crack it open. And we have researched inhibitors, which is another new feature. You can put it on your deformation tool and it will stop it from damaging the ground. It'll let you like collect plants without digging holes and things like that. So that's not too useful at the moment. Each different type of research thing, like the capsules or the plant research materials, will yield different categories of items. So I guess the capsule ones are sort of more equipment based rather than building or vehicles or anything. Just want to look down in this hole, see if I can see anything useful. Won't be going too far because of my oxygen reserves. So there is some oxygen here, so I'll grab some of that. And I'll mine out this compound. Resources will spawn anywhere, like on the ceiling or on the walls. Sometimes they'll be just under the surface, sometimes they'll be deep under the surface. Looks like I've got most of them. Pink stuff, I believe, is laterite, which is sort of aluminium ore. Don't really need any aluminium at the moment. And my oxygen is getting quite low, so I'm going to fill up with this stuff. And we'll head back up. This is a good cave though, I might build my tether line down into this cave. There's actually a bunch of oxygen here, so I'm going to collect it. So I've got 3 canisters of it there. Now I have 5 tethers. I'm going to make one more lot of tethers, and we'll go exploring in this cave. I would like to find some more research materials if I can. Or just some more compound is always useful. Because we're going to need that to build buildings. So this one's a research pod from under the plant that was there earlier. I'll just leave it here for the moment. And we'll continue exploring. Come on, connect up. There we go. So I'm gonna head down this way. As far as I know, there's not really any difference in what materials you'll find at different depths. Apart from when you get to the very core of the planet, you will find ASTRONEER, which I don't think has a use yet, but it's sort of the highest tier material. So we've got a bunch of power around here. There's not much else though. These little white and red plants, if you get too close to them, they will sort of spike you. I think they're actually called spikers, so kind of self-explanatory. Oh, I'm sliding here. This game is quite CPU intensive, so hopefully it's not affecting my stream quality too much. So that was actually my last tether. Really anything here that I want, unfortunately. I do still have a bunch of oxygen in my backpack, so I'm gonna explore down this way a little bit. See if I can find anything. Not really much around. Oh, there's a module or something. Capsule. I'll try and get this back. I might actually run out of oxygen. One little trick I've found is you can drop the capsule and run faster, and then pick it up again once you catch up to it. Oops. Alright, so I should make it back. Yeah. So I'm going to take this one out and research it. Hopefully it will give me something useful. And then we'll come back for the plant research pod. It is pretty easy to get lost if you don't follow your line of tethers. If you run away from them, the caves can be very confusing. Come on, get up there. Once you build a vehicle, you can use it to transport objects much faster than carrying them by yourself. And research. There we go. Terrain analyzer. So that's another add-on for your deformation tool. I believe it lets you find materials that are buried in the ground. I think. They were in the newest update, so I haven't used them at all yet. So we're going to grab the plant one and see what it gives us. It should be something completely different, it won't be another add-on thing. It might be a building, I think. Put some of my power in here. Research. Shuttle, okay. So the shuttle is the earliest type of spaceship you can get, and it will let you go to other planets. It doesn't have a huge fuel capacity, and you can't really carry anything with you, but it is a useful tool. You can get to a different planet. You will find different things on different planets. Just seeing that up here there are some research pods. You can just grab them down from these short trees, or you can dig the tree and it will fall over and you can grab it that way. Or you can just sort of build yourself a little platform up beside the tree to stand on and grab it that way. This tree is chasing me. Generators, okay. So a generator will make power out of organic material. It's sort of a cheap and easy way to get power at the start. But I've found enough power nodes that I've been able to use those. If you research a duplicate material, like one that you've already researched, it will give you resources instead of unlocking a new thing. Alright, so I've researched filters there. Filters are kind of useful. You make them in your backpack out of a stack of compound, and each one will filter enough oxygen to refill your backpack. So if you're lost in a cave or something, you can make some of those out of some compound and it will allow you to breathe for a little bit longer. Is that another one up there? No. There's one over there. Can I reach that? I can. I think they've extended how far you can reach with your picking up the pods. Boost 3 seat, that's interesting. Haven't had that before. That will be for on your vehicles. You can have a bunch of seats on them. The simplest one is a single seat, which has got a sort of a roll cage around it, which I found one of earlier. And that's for in multiplayer. You can take people with you in your trucks or on your spaceship. Oops. Missed that one. Come on, power. You can do it. There we go. It's getting dark, so my solar panels just shut off. Wind vane. Is that the big one or the small one? Yeah, so that's the small wind vane that you can attach to your backpack. It will generate electricity from the wind. As you can see, these little particles moving past, that's how strong the wind is at the moment. It does vary a lot, but if you're having trouble generating power at night time or something, they can be pretty useful. Running around doesn't seem to actually increase the wind speed, so unfortunately you can't sort of generate power by moving. So I've got heaps of resin around. I could make my base a bit bigger if I wanted. Got another research thing here. Looks to be different to the ones I've already had. I'll just drop that for a minute and get some of this power. Because it is night time, I will need to supply my own power. My solar panel won't be working. Your solar panels will rotate to face the sun, and when it's night time they'll sort of close up or just point directly upwards for the small ones. You can plug your power into any of these slots and it will be used. Looks like that wasn't quite enough. Where's my other power node? Is it over here? Yeah. Oh, it just left it. Alright, got 2 capsules, that should be enough. One thing to note, when you are digging up power, as soon as you have one capsule, it will start draining that when you continue digging, rather than using your backpack's power. So it can be a bit not productive to keep digging power if you've already got some. Large batteries. A large battery is one you will attach to your base or a vehicle, and it'll allow you to store more power there. You can get small batteries which will go in your backpack and will increase your power capacity in mining. I'm going to run over here. I should be able to make it to this tree and back pretty easily. I'm just going to run straight back to my base. I'm not worried about connecting to my tethers or anything. It's not too far. Enclosed one seat. Not sure why you would want an enclosed seat rather than a regular seat. As far as I know, the regular seat will protect you from weather and stuff anyway, so I guess it's just a style choice. Just gonna pop this thing open, see what's in it. Some organic and some aluminium. So there's a nice bit of compound over there. I might see if we can get that. Grab some of this oxygen. And we'll go and dig this up. I'm running out of power, unfortunately. The sun is coming up, so I should be charging up pretty good soon. Alright, I'm running out of oxygen now, so we'll head back. Better just go over to my tether line so I actually make it. Alright, so I got a bunch of compound there, that's good. I might actually just make another solar panel just to power my research station. And then I'll make some tethers and we'll go exploring underground somewhere. I'm not sure what type of research I'm going to need to get a solar panel. It's usually one of the first things that you unlock. But with the new research system, it looks like I'm going to have to try different sorts of things. I might see if I can find another cave plant to research. Excuse me. To research. So we'll dig this little guy up. These type of plants with green with the sort of reddy orange bulbs on them, if you go too close it will explode and it will do quite a bit of damage to you. Or if you're too close when you dig it out, it will also explode. Not sure what that is. Gotta check. Not sure if it's a plant or a research. Oh, it's a research thing. Okay. I might just take this one. I haven't seen this type of thing before. Just while I'm here, I will dig up some of this aluminium gold and we can smelt some. We don't really need aluminium at the moment. It is useful for making trucks, or I think a spaceship uses some. And I haven't actually unlocked trucks yet, so I won't really be able to use that. as you can see when I dig here, little yellow lines come to me through my tethers, which means I'm being transferred power from my base, from those solar panels that we put up earlier. So I'm just going to cover over this hole. If you hold Control while you're digging or using your deformation tool, it will level out the surface to whatever sort of polygon you were pointing at. So if I go to this flat one here, it'll sort of flatten it out a bit. It is on a bit of a slope, but as long as it covers in most of the hole, I don't mind. If you fall too far, you will take falling damage, and it's pretty easy to die like that. But as long as it's only a small hole, it's not too bad. Just want to look over here if there's any more resources. Doesn't look to be any. Alright, so we'll grab this pod and head out. I would like to make a rover if I can. And we'll bring it down here to carry some more. Just going to dig myself a little ramp here. Sick of walking all the way around. These rocks will be annoying and get in the way. I don't think they despawn, so I'm just going to dig at a bit of a hole and then cover it over. We'll run out of power now, of course. So I'll get that when I come back. Sort of cover it up. This is why I want to make some big solar panels, because then I can connect my tether line down into the cave and just sort of dig for as long as I want. A big solar panel provides you with quite a bit of power. You can't dig constantly, it's just one. It gets pretty good. Pretty close to digging as much as you want. Alright, I've researched storage there, so I can make a sort of a panel that I can attach more resources onto. I believe this will be the small storage. Yeah, this one here. So it's a sort of a flat plate with a bit sticking up, and there's 4 slots for items on either side of it, allowing you to store 8 resource capsules. You can get a larger one for on the back of a vehicle, which I believe will allow you to store... I'm not sure if it's 8 or 16. But you can attach the smaller ones to the larger one to extend it, sort of. Grab this research. I'm not sure if this is the same as one we already did, but we'll find out. Just going to build back a bit. Once again, I'm holding down Control to sort of flatten the slope out, so that I can walk over pretty easily. Looks like a dust storm's coming in, so I'm actually going to jump back down into the cave real quick. If you get hit by those rocks, they will kill you. I might have just passed over. Still here. Rocks are perfect cubes, which is quite funny. Not sure natural phenomenon would produce a storm of cubes. digging myself a little shortcut through here while I wait. Alright, looks like it's cleared up. Seems that I've drained all my power there, unfortunately. This one doesn't look like it's filled up yet. I just need a little bit more. The sun's come up now, so... Wait, has it? Yeah. Plug this one in. Alright, I've unlocked a spaceship there, that's pretty cool. I don't think I'll be able to make that yet. What I do want to do is put my aluminium ore into this smelter that we made earlier. And that will process it into a box of aluminium. You do have to be careful with this. It's kind of bugged. If you put an incomplete stack, it won't actually let you move the incomplete stack of aluminium. If you then smelt some copper, for example, it will put the incomplete stack into one of these slots and you will never be able to move it. I don't think they fixed that yet, I may be wrong. But I do like to keep these slots on the side empty just in case. Because that way it can automatically move it from the output. And you can always just stash your aluminium somewhere else. So I'm not sure what we need to make a vehicle factory. I'll go and grab some resin and we'll have a look at that. I think there was a bunch more over this way. So this thing's completely refilled, it looks like. So they do refill eventually. I think I only need 2 stacks of resin, but I'll empty it out again. And is there any more over here? No. Alrighty. I should be able to make a vehicle factory. I think it's compound I need. I'm not entirely sure. What I want to do is build it a little bit away from my base because then I can drive my vehicles up to it pretty easily. Oops. Only 2 seconds. So we'll make it here. So vehicle bay is aluminium. Luckily I've got some of that freshly smelted. If you hold shift and click on your resources, it will automatically pick it up into your backpack. Otherwise you have to sort of put it in there manually like this. And then if you click on the spots where it needs it here, it will just put it in and go. So once we power this up, We should be able to see if we can build a rover. I think I have to research it before I can build it. I'm not entirely sure. I know I have to research a truck. So yeah, it's going to let me build a rover, a shuttle or a spaceship, which I've already researched. A rover is going to need 4 stacks of compound, which I don't have. I'm just going to drop off my organic here. Organic is really not that useful. As I said before, I'm pretty sure the only thing it's used for is generating power in a generator. Alright, we're going to explore this direction now, because I'm looking for more compound, and compound is most often found on the surface, I believe. You can find it in caves, like on the walls or on the ceiling or on the ground. But because it is one of the earlier resources that you'll need, it's usually fairly plentiful on the surface. I think this is resin in really big spikes. Oh no, it's hydrazine, okay. Hydrazine is spaceship fuel for flying to other planets. I do have some compound over here, so let's get that. So I've got 4 stacks. I will need more if I want to put a seat on my rover though, so just dig up all that I can. Just waiting for my power to recharge. Some research things in these trees. I think I've already researched one of these ones, but we'll see if we can research it again. There's one way over there. Should be able to make it now. Yeah, it's not too far. It's actually the same as the one that I just found. So yeah, compound is sort of your basic building material. I guess you would liken it to, say, steel or something in real construction, whereas resin is sort of a concrete type thing, which is more used for your platforms and such. And then aluminium and copper are mainly used for vehicles, or sort of some machinery type things. Lithium is used for batteries. When doing research. So I think this is a duplicate one. So yeah, it just gave me some titanium, which I won't really need yet. With titanium you can make a oxygen tank, so you can carry more oxygen with you, and that will refill from your tethers or from any oxygen you pick up. So I'm making a rover here. I do have a seat that I can put on it already, so we'll use that one. If it'll point forwards for me, that would be nice. Oh, there we go. Now I do want to put a solar panel on it, but I can't actually make the big ones yet. So we're making a little solar panel. do have to be careful not to run out of power with your vehicles. And you just have to detach it from the base there. While it's attached, it will charge up power from the base. But if you want to move it further away, you do need to detach it. Now I need some power. And because the sun has gone down, I don't have any. That will be enough to get me started. Getting lost in my own base here. So that will fill up the batteries on the side here, and we can go driving. The driving controls are a bit weird. I believe they're working on a different system for it at the moment. It just sort of tries to go whichever way you point your camera, and it can be a bit difficult to make it go the way you want. You do have unlimited oxygen while you're in a vehicle, I believe. It was that way when I last played, so I don't think they've changed that yet. And when you jump out, as long as you stay nearby, it will supply you with oxygen, and you can connect a tether line to it if you want to sort of explore further away. If your vehicle runs out of power, it won't move, but as long as you've got a solar panel and you're not underground, you're fairly safe to go exploring with the vehicle. It can be pretty difficult to find your way back to your base. There is a sort of house icon, but if you go far enough, that will actually disappear behind the horizon and you won't be able to find your way back. The first time I played Astroneer, I went for a drive around the world and I got slightly off track and I never found my way back to my base. I ended up building a new base on the other side of the world, and once I got a spaceship I flew back over to my first base. You can sort of keep track of which direction you're going if you get out and check the compass, but once you go far enough it sort of changes it a little bit because the north and south pole are relative to the planet. There's a spaceship of some sort over here. Which appears to have something that I can interact with. No? No? That looks like the research pod I picked up earlier. Just sort of trying to see if there's anything I can steal off it. I might have to uncover the whole thing. You do have to be a little bit careful when you're mining near your vehicle, because it will use the vehicle's energy before it uses your own. And if you want to move your vehicle again, you need it to have energy. I don't know if you can see or not, but the ground actually goes into the spaceship, like there will be ground inside of it. If you want it to be completely detached and move freely, you will have to dig out every little bit of ground from inside of it. Looks like there's a door or something there. No, it's just a bit that's cracked open. I'm hoping there's something I can use here. I haven't seen this type of spaceship before. I know they're always adding new things in this game. It's been out a while now, so it's getting quite complex. Might see if we can build up to the top of it, see if there's anything on the top that I can take. Looks like it's hollow inside. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, there's some, looks like aluminium or copper. Yeah, aluminium. I don't want to fall down in there because I might not be able to get out. Some hydrazine there. I think I'm full, am I? Yeah. Most of the spaceships and stuff have a module, like a seat or something you can steal and use for yourself. Doesn't look like this guy does. Might see if I can dig the whole thing out and get it to fall over, so I can climb inside easily. I'm going to dig up some of that power over there. Looks like there's something else over there. I think that's actually the giant solar panel attached to that girder. I'm going to, not that, drop some of this compound on my rover. Not sure if I can attach it there. Some things you can attach on the front and back. Looks like solar panels are going to work for that, so I'll make another solar panel out of some compound. You can never have too many solar panels after all. Not sure what this bit is either. There are a lot of just junk bits that don't actually do anything. I think that's what that is. Kind of need to get down there now so I can see what I'm doing a bit better. I don't want to get stuck down there and not be able to get out, because I need to get back to my rover to get some oxygen every now and then, which I'm actually going to move a bit further away so that I can make a ramp. Right, so we've got a whole bunch of resources in the bottom of this thing. There's lithium, titanium, hydrazine, organic, some more aluminium. Oh, that's copper actually, which is nice. I'll take the lithium and the copper for now. And I'm full again. So I better actually head up and get some more oxygen here. So that's interesting, I've never seen that type of spaceship before. Had quite a bit of stuff in the bottom. I do quickly want to go and make a storage module to the back of my rover. I'll just put a small one on it, which will allow me to store more resources. They have fixed up the vehicle physics a little bit since I last played. It can be quite tricky, or it was quite tricky, because your rover would sort of just bounce around everywhere when you were driving, and that was not fun at all. Looks like I've actually lost the solar panels from the front and back, but that's fine. I can make more of those. Now, I want to store some of this stuff. Lithium and copper. And some aluminium. Now, I think it's 2 stacks of compound to make a storage component. Make one of those. Where did I leave my car? Way over there. Now I just want to make some more solar panels to replace those ones. Oh, there's one of them. I believe they should work when they're attached to the storage section. Let's turn it around to the sun. Yep, they work. Not really getting much power there. And one not increasing at all. That's weird. Oh, there we go. So now, I don't really know where I should go next. I do want to find that, what looked like a big solar panel. Not sure which direction that was though. I'm pretty terrible at navigating, so I think it was on this one. Looks like a long distance there. So that is the big solar panel. I've never actually used one of these before, so I'm not sure how to connect it. I think you have to connect your vehicle to this little section here, and then sort of use your vehicle to connect it to your base. I don't think I can move it. I don't have a winch which will let me move it, but I can connect my vehicle to it here. I think. Let's get this research thing out of the way. It'd be nice if this rock would move. So now if I back up to it, I should be able to sort of attach it on there. Reversing is really difficult because it wants to turn around. I don't actually have brakes, I don't think, so it's gonna be difficult to get my car to stop at the right place. I might just build myself a little buffer at the end of the road. Just stop there, come on. Alright, park it up here again. Apparently it's going to work like that, so... Now if I hook that up, which I think I can do, if it'll let me. Come on. Yep, there. So I think that should charge my vehicle up. I'm not sure. Oh, I've moved too far away then. Oh, let me click on that. And now there's no sunlight, so it won't tell me anyway. So what I could potentially do is extend a line of platforms from my base all the way over here and connect it up that way. Because these things make a whole lot of power apparently. The sky looks really nice in this game. Can I attach you here somewhere? If you have the large storage modules on your vehicle, you can put research things on them, or if you have a truck, you can attach them to the front and back of it. Seems like it's quite a long night. Looks like the sun's going to come up in the west today. If it comes up at all. How long is this night going to be? Alright, we might just leave this for now. I don't really have enough resin to try and make a platform over here. But it is good to know that it's there. I don't think tethers will connect to it. And I don't think they'll transfer power between the buildings anyway. Especially if it's going to be nighttime forever. I don't know what's happened to the sun. I might just collect some resin. Because if I can get enough, then I will build a platform in there. It takes a lot though, because platforms don't extend very far from previous platforms. It's not actually supplying me with power from my car at the moment. It must only work from the solar panels and not from the battery itself. And the solar panels aren't working because it is still night time. There's the moon. You can go to the moon with your spaceship. I did hear about someone on the internet trying to build a bridge to the moon. I don't think they succeeded because it does sort of orbit around your planet. And the sun's come up finally. There is a space station where you sort of start the game. It's sort of the main menu of the game where you launch from, and you sort of load and save your games there. You can build a bridge to it if you can figure out where it is. Something up in the sky over there. Yeah, you can build a land bridge up to the space station if you are dedicated enough. It is a very long way away. I've seen a video of someone doing it. It took hours for them to do it. They actually built a tether line all the way up while they were going, which took quite a bit of dedication. Now I've lost where my giant solar panels are. Kind of want to plug my deep into it and see how they work. My rover, so it's over there. Take my storage thing with my solar panels off and connect it up. Yeah, so it charges it up quite quickly. That's cool. Oops. Come on, let me take it off now. So yeah, it does charge your vehicles quite quickly. I know it supplies your base with a pretty good amount of power if you can get it connected up. The way to do that is you connect your vehicle to it like I just did, and then connect the other end of the vehicle to a platform of your base, and it will transfer power through. Oops. These vehicle controls are still really awkward. So yeah, eventually I will probably try and do that. It's quite a long distance to do at the moment, but it would be good to have. Especially since it's taking me a while to actually get enough research to get solar panels for myself. Can't see any more research things on any of the nearby trees. And I can't actually carry a research module while I'm riding in my car, unfortunately. I think if I took the storage module off the back, then I could put one there. But then I don't have any solar panels. Not sure if these trees might have them underneath or not. I think I've chopped one down and it didn't. Yeah, no. Nothing there. Just heading over to this mountain and see what's going on there. There are often some unusual things near different terrain features. I believe the world is sort of procedurally generated. It's definitely not like pre-made because each game you play is an entirely different world. But it does seem to like putting all sort of features near each other. Like if there's a cave in your mountain, there's generally something inside of it. Oh, not this time. But yeah, you will often find like a satellite or something inside of a cave, inside of a mountain, things like that. I've been quite lucky with the amount of spaceships I've found in the base this game. I'm just kind of circling around my base. See if there's anything else I can find. I'm running out of power. So maybe it does seem like they've increased the amount of these nodes that there are. I've had games where I've found like one, and this time I've found 5 or 6 around my base, so that's good. I'm going to put a bunch of this power into my truck, my robot, and put my resin in there as well, just to store it so I can mine more if I need to. Now, where was my base? Over there, so I'll head this way. Turn around. So. I'm actually going to gather some of this resin too. Because we always need more resin, especially if I want to build a platform to that solid gun. Looks like it's empty though. Try not to fall in the hole. It can be very difficult to get your rover out of a hole if you fall in. If you're going to go exploring in a cave with your rover, you really need to build a nice flat ramp for it. Because they are very easy to get stuck. Looks like I've got some nice mountains around. That's cool. Make sure I can still see my base. Oh, there's another spaceship over here. It's just one of the basic ones. Should have a seat and some other stuff in it. I'm not really interested in taking the seat. There's not much useful in there. Which won't let me pick them up for some reason. Okay, that's weird. Oh, there we go. Titanium, copper, aluminium, and organic. Something up there. Looks like it might be a compound node. I didn't know there was compound nodes. I think that's what it is. Anyway, some fall damage. You do recover health pretty quickly if you take damage. As long as you don't hurt yourself too much at once, you can survive pretty well. So I'll just leave that spaceship there, I'm not really in need of any of those things. I can see another one over here. That's cool. It's a big one. This one I can actually get down into if I want. Oh, there's a seat. Some materials. I'll actually take the resin. Wait, am I full? No? Pick it up, there we go. The controls can be a little bit iffy in this game sometimes, they're still working on that. Getting some kinks ironed out. Looks like that's all there is for now. Thought it was the same as the one I found earlier, but it's slightly different. Huh. Interesting. Looks like I've lost sight of my base. Pretty sure it's over this way. There it is. So yeah, there's a bunch of different types of spaceships and stuff you can find. Some of them have different purposes rather than just being spots you can find materials. The solar panel is one of the most useful ones because it allows you to hook it up to your base and get lots of power from it. Looks like I've got a storm coming in here. There's also one of the spaceships has a sort of mini game involved with it, which I won't go into too much detail about. I don't want to spoil that, but if I can find one, I'll definitely have a go at it. I never actually got it to activate before because it's, well, at least it was in the previous version, a little bit bugged and it was kind of hard to get the game to actually register what was happening. It's an interesting research mod. So yeah, there's a bunch of different spaceships and satellites and things like that. Some of them you'll find underground or on different planets. You can also find dead astronauts, which are almost identical to you, which is kind of a bit of a warning to us. And they will have materials and stuff that you can use. And as you keep researching more different things, you'll unlock different buildings or vehicles or equipment for yourself. There's batteries and oxygen tanks and a bunch of different stuff. And they are constantly updating the game. The latest update was for the sort of, I think they call them modifiers for your sort of vacuum tool. Deformation tool, I think they're calling it. And it lets you sort of paint the ground or collect things in different ways, things like that. So I think I'm going to stop there. This has been ASTRONEER, the first episode. We have built a bit of a base up for ourselves. We've made some exciting discoveries, which we hopefully will be using a bit next time. If you haven't played this game, definitely check it out. It's very unique and not really like anything else that I've played so far. It is a survival game. There's not too many survival aspects at the moment other than don't run out of oxygen, stay near your base. But it's more about exploring and going to other planets. It's sort of Minecraft-like in the way that you can dig down into the ground and do whatever you want there. But it's kind of more interesting in the way that it works with the deformation rather than just being blocks. It's little individual polygons that can sort of dig out whatever shape you want, and you can also build yourself a platform or sort of build whatever sort of shape you want as well. So yeah, that's going to be it for now. Next time we will continue researching, and I might see if I can connect up that solar panel. If we do research the winch and a truck to put it on, we can sort of drag it back over to our base, which would be interesting to do. But for now, that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. This has been ASTRONEER, First Steps. I will be streaming most Mondays and Wednesdays, and sometimes other days as well. And I am putting my videos on YouTube when I can. I'm mostly doing Minecraft and League of Legends. I do want to continue my Alien Isolation playthrough. It just takes a bit of time to do episodes of that, so I've been holding off on it for a little while.